a small business can seem so overwhelming simply because there are always so many moving parts and that never-ending to-do list. How do you keep it all straight? Well, in today's video, I'm talking with an organizational and operational expert, and she's spilling her secrets about her favorite way to stay on top of those to-dos: Trello. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Mariah, the owner and creative director of Mariah Branding, helping creative female entrepreneurs build brands with confidence and success. If that's something you're interested in, then be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click the bell icon to make sure you're the first to be notified when I upload new videos. In today's video, I'm chatting with another entrepreneur named Mariah. A certified director of operations with an MBA and BS in business, Mariah runs Bloom Hustle Grow, where she helps female service-based entrepreneurs make the hustle easier by establishing strategic direction, crafting actionable plans, and getting their business operations organized and optimized. In this interview, Mariah is sharing the ins and outs of Trello, one of her favorite organizational tools. So let's get started. We are talking to you about Trello and project management today. But before we jump in, I really like to get kind of your entrepreneurial journey. So I'd love to know, like, if you could just explain to us real quick what you do and why you're passionate about it.
So I'm Mariah, and my business is Bloom Hustle Grow, as Mariah has already told you, but we're both Mariah, so it might
Yes, I hope that's not confusing.
Yes.
But that's why I reached out to you. I was like, there's another Mariah.
I know, I love it. We don't get very many of us.
I know, right?
So anyway, so my business, I'm an operations specialist for other online entrepreneurs. I mostly work with service-based entrepreneurs, which basically means that I help them get all their stuff done in their business. I support them in their operations of their business. I've always been a really organized person, a planner, and I've always loved operations. Like, I love things to be efficient and time management and all those kinds of things. So I'm a detail person, but also a big picture person.
Awesome.
And kind of, where I found like my skills can really help a lot of entrepreneurs.
That's awesome. So can you tell us kind of your journey, how you got into all of this?
So honestly, it's like most people's journeys in business. I think, like, you kind of start as one thing and then you realize really where your strengths are and where you should put your focus in your business. I had prior jobs where basically it was project management. People would give us pots of money and be like, we want X, Y, and Z to happen, and I would help facilitate to make that happen. Finding the resources and the people and managing the budgets.
Wow.
And honestly, that translates very well to the online space. But when I started, I was more of a business coach. So it was kind of broader than operations. And the reason for that is I've always been super, like, inspired by other entrepreneurs. I'm the person at the party that's like, oh my God, you're an entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about your business, all the things.
That's awesome.
So when I first came in, I offered business coaching, but I've specialized down to operations because honestly, project management was more of my 9-to-5 background. I have an MBA, so I have a broad business education. I actually won a paper in operations when I got my MBA.
That's so great that you do that, because it's really interesting because, I work with service-based entrepreneurs as well, but like mostly creatives, artists, photographers and stuff. And I feel like everything you're talking about is everything they struggle with. You know what I mean? Like the operations, the running the business, like they just want to be photographers or painters or whatever. And like what you're talking about is like their nightmare of the business. So I'm so excited that you are going to share like that, and especially the Trello and project management side of that. So before we dive into that, I would love to know, what is your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur?
Number one, getting to help people. Like, you honestly get to see so much of an immediate impact when you're kind of in a bigger corporation. A lot of times, like, you do a project, it gets laid to the side, something happens. But when you're working one-on-one with people, it's amazing to get to see your immediate impact. But on the personal side, of course, it's more all about the freedom. And I love that I get to make my days, and kind of, I'm currently traveling. So, and working at the same
Yes.
time.
So tell us where you are right now. Like,
Right now, we are in Hood River, Oregon, and we've been traveling since March, me and my husband, full time in an Airstream. So that's what you see
yes,
behind
that's
me.
so cool.
But having my own business allows me to do that, and I get to work with people online, so I can basically live anywhere as long as I have Wi-Fi.
That is amazing. I just love that. So that is the upside. So what is the downside for you? What is your least favorite thing?
So honestly, it's probably the flip side of that. It is the freedom, because honestly, like, it kind of sometimes overtakes your life a little bit if you let it. I mean, of
Oh
course,
my
it's
gosh.
up to you to make the boundaries, but
Mhm.
sometimes really hard to break away and say, okay, I'm going to stop working now. I'm going to focus on other things, because it's
Mhm.
sort of your baby and it's your business
Yeah.
and it's all you and it's all on you.
Uh-huh.
So
And by focus on other things, you mean like life, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
not the business. Yeah.
exactly. Like, okay, I'm going to close the laptop now and like let my mind go to something else.
Mhm.
Because, like, it is the freedom of getting to make what you want, but at the same time, that freedom also can kind of take over and be like, I want
Yes.
to put all my energy into one thing. But I
Yeah,
mean,
totally. I totally get that. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you. So let's jump into Trello. The reason I reached out to you is because I know you are like a Trello guru, and it just is one of these things that like keeps popping up. Like, I'm aware of project management softwares like Trello and Asana and stuff like that. And I actually used Asana in my old marketing job when I was a graphic designer at a marketing firm. And so like I get the idea of it, but Trello has been on my radar. Like, everybody's talking about Trello. So I really wanted to talk to you and kind of get to know what it is and your take on it. So tell me about Trello.
okay. So as you mentioned, Trello is a project management tool. So I'm going to back up just a little bit and just let you know a little bit about what the audience,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
project management tool is. So a project management tool essentially organizes basically everything in your business. So all your tasks, all your to-dos, all your data, your client work, anything like that can live in a project management tool.
Mhm.
So Trello is just one that's available out there on the market, and it's one that I started using very early in my business. And one of the reasons that I kind of fell in love with it is because it's so customizable. Is
Awesome.
you can create your own processes and kind of how you want to manage all the things in your business within Trello, as opposed to you having to fit how you want to manage it into a tool. Um, just because it does have that flexibility, whereas some other tools, it's kind of like, this is the space for this, and you can't really
Mm-hmm.
adjust how you work in it. Whereas
Okay.
Trello, you get to make your own processes.
That's awesome. Very cool. So can you tell me for yourself how you use Trello in your business?
It's literally all the things.
I love
And,
it.
like, honestly, so it's content marketing, all my blog posts, anything that I create lives in Trello and has a process in there. It's all my client work, it's my strategic planning, it's my social media. So like, I have links to basically like anything that I do in my business lives in Trello. It's the
Wow.
central hub of my business. So I can go in there every day. I go in there. It's like, okay, what's on my docket for today? That lives in Trello. Where's the folder for this client? That lives in Trello, like
Mhm.
the link to it. Where is this blog post that needs to be scheduled this week? That lives in Trello. So it all
Yeah,
is centralized right there.
that's amazing. That sounds awesome. So it sounds like you started kind of from the beginning of your business, but I did want to ask, like, how has it changed your business? But can you explain that?
So I have used it basically from the beginning. I'm
Okay.
one of those people, like, I was that kid, like, when, at school, like, I like had my perfect like folders, like, already, a
I love
notebook for each class, and like my schedule and all the, like, color
it.
coded and
Yes.
all that. I'm
I
like
love
that person.
it.
So, naturally, when I started my business, like, kind of having a tool that's going to support me in being organized overall was something important. I don't even know how I found Trello. People are like, how did you pick
Okay.
Trello? I don't remember. Who knows? I honestly, I can't remember that. I think it just probably popped up as like, oh, this seems to fit my needs. I'm going to just try it out. And
Yeah,
I fell in love with it.
that's
Um,
awesome.
but for me, I definitely, I think it helps support your business as you're growing, because like there's so much to learn when you're starting your own business and on
Yeah.
the entrepreneurial journey. So I think for me, it just helped like organize that, but also help me see patterns in my business, so that when
Okay.
I wanted to switch, or like I saw, okay, I enjoy this more, or this offer is more successful, or this way of doing marketing is more successful. And because I had all that data kind of right there in front of me,
Yeah.
Trello really helps.
Yeah. So you were able to be more aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you kind of have already sold me on it, but I wanted to ask, like, why do you feel like I or any other entrepreneur needs Trello in their business?
So I'm going to shock you with this answer, baby. But honestly, like I just feel like you just need a project management tool.
Okay.
I personally am Team Trello, like all the way. I
Yeah.
love it, but I don't care if you use Asana or Trello or ClickUp. Just get started with a tool.
Okay.
That's most important, because it's going to make your life so much easier. I know we all are like, oh no, I have my notebook, or it lives in my head. Honestly, you're going to always get to a point in your business where it can't all live in your head, and you
Uh-huh.
need an organized place for it. And you wouldn't believe the relief that a lot of entrepreneurs get when they have that organized hub, when they know they can just like go to one place and find their brand colors, or find that link to that blog post or whatever it is that they need throughout their day.
Right.
It
Yeah.
provides that support. So
Yeah.
whether it's Trello, yay, or
Yeah.
if it's something else, just the sooner you start it, the
Right.
more organized you're going to feel and the less stress you're going to feel.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So, I know you were kind of talking about Trello and all the great features and stuff that it has, but why do you prefer Trello as opposed to, like I said, I've used Asana and I'm aware of like Basecamp and a few other ones. You mentioned another one. So what is it about Trello that you think, especially like for service-based industry, like is good for us?
So I personally love it because it is so customizable. You can
Mhm.
make it work how your brain works, as opposed to like trying to fit your processes into
Right.
something that's maybe made for a different industry, or doesn't quite fit how you personally work.
Mhm.
A lot of people, I think, come in to their business as solopreneurs. A lot of us don't start our businesses necessarily with a team. And honestly, Trello is great for the solopreneur, and it allows you to kind of build those processes. And then when you're ready to build a team, like it's kind of all there already laid out,
Oh, that sounds
that you
perfect.
could easily bring a team member in, especially a VA or something.
Yeah.
But I also use Asana with clients, so I'm not like I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
totally out of the other ones either. And which I like Asana too. I think it's more list based, so for me
Okay.
Trello can be very visual, which I like, whereas Asana, it's like basically a task list,
Okay.
whereas Trello, it's cards, and
Mhm.
different things can live on those cards, and there's a lot of fun features in there, and I'm like a huge fan of putting pictures on my cards, so it does make
Okay.
my boards very visual.
That's awesome. That's interesting you said that because I have heard that Trello is very visual. And so for myself, that's kind of why I was intrigued. And I think for like a lot of my audience being creatives, I think that sounds like a really great option. So my next question is, I want to know like, what's your best advice for somebody like me who I gave up on Asana like years ago and now I'm back to like handwritten notes. So I want to try Trello, but it does seem a little overwhelming to me. So like, what's your best advice to just like get started?
Honestly, you do have to just get started, which is a
I
great
know.
advice, but you have to train yourself to use the tool. There is no like magic tool that's going to be like, oh my God, now everything's easy. Like, honestly, you do
Yeah.
have to train yourself to start putting stuff in there and start using it and visiting it every day. It's not something that just magically happens in your
Okay.
business.
Yeah.
But, but I do actually have a tangible piece of advice here.
Okay.
but what I say is start like just with one of your processes. So, is keeping your content marketing really overwhelming for you? Do you find yourself like searching through files and like,
Right.
constantly looking through bookmarks on the internet or something? If that's really overwhelming with you, start with that process.
Okay.
Or are you having trouble keeping up with all your client projects? Start there, start organizing your client projects in Trello. I think just starting with like one section of your business first really helps you, because otherwise it is overwhelming, right? Like,
Right.
how am I going to build all this stuff out? It could be like, it's
Yeah.
too hard to focus on, like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, I have to build everything at one time.
Right. Yeah. I think
don't
that's what
need
was
to.
holding me back, because I was like, I have to put my whole business on Trello. But like, that's really great advice to just like think of one system and plug that one system in and kind of get my feet wet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I started with Trello with my editorial calendar, like with my content, because when I started my business, I had more free time than I had clients when I initially started
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
But, keeping up with content felt harder for me. And it was just like so many moving pieces within that system. So that's where I started.
Awesome. So since you have been on Trello so long and you really know it so well, I want to know, what is your favorite Trello hack?
I am an information hoarder. Basically, anything that like is new or that I want to remember, I love to be able to kind of hold on to that. And Trello has totally made my information hoarding self super happy. They have a Chrome extension called
Oh,
the Web
cool.
Clipper, the Trello Web Clipper, and it's actually
Okay.
produced by them. It's their Chrome extension. And you can go to any website and basically clip that page. So it'll save the link, the URL, and like a small description to that page into a Trello card, which you can put on
That's
any
awesome.
board or any list, which it really is amazing. It also is really helpful when you're learning or with personal development, or if you go through a course, you can kind of like clip
Oh,
like if it's
that's
online, you can clip
genius.
those pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Okay.
I just love that feature.
Good to know.
Though I have to say my second favorite feature, which is related, is attachment. So basically you can attach anything to Trello, a Trello card. So that can be Dropbox, Google Drive, any link from any website. You can put photos, you can upload photos on there. So honestly, even for people who are kind of addicted to handwriting notes,
Oh, funny.
one of my hacks is to take a picture of it,
Okay.
of the note, and upload
Yeah,
it to a Trello card. So then it's saved there and categorized into whatever,
that's
category.
awesome.
So sometimes I might get an idea and I want to handwrite it down because I think freer like that, but then I want to save that idea for later and I can put it in my ideas board in Trello.
That is so awesome. Maybe that's a good way for me to get started. I can just start like taking pictures of all my notes and plugging them in. So,
Yeah. But that way you can find them instead of like
yeah.
flipping through
Oh my
like,
gosh. Because
oh,
I
was it the
write it down
purple
and then I
notebook?
can never find it again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, so can you share like how people can learn more about Trello, like if they're ready to dive deeper?
Yeah, of course. So I actually have a number of blog posts about Trello on my site. And I have one that's actually 10 ways I use Trello in my business. And I think that's a great introduction to just for you to understand how can you use Trello in your business? What would
That's
be the
awesome.
applications? I also have a free Trello 101 course that kind of just introduces you to Trello and some of the ways that I've used it in my business in the past.
Mhm.
And then I also have Plan Your Year with Trello. So this is my take on kind of getting out of the paper planners and
Awesome.
really putting those plans that you have for your business and your goals in your business in action. It gives you a place to kind of strategically plan your whole year, and I walk you through that, and then how that translates to 90-day planning, which is what I use in my business, and then also how that translates to your marketing strategy and how Trello supports all of those things.
That's awesome. That you have like such a wealth of knowledge and stuff available for people. So just so everyone knows, I am going to link all of that stuff in the show notes down below. So definitely go check that out. But yeah, thanks. I'm glad you're going to share that with us. So kind of wrapping up, I wanted to know, and this can be Trello or anything else, but being in business for a while, what is your biggest piece of advice for entrepreneurs, especially those who are just getting started?
Honestly, it's all a journey. Like, I think so many of us like start out with a certain expectation for our business or direction. And honestly, like in 2 years, it's not going to be the same as it looks now. I don't know anyone who has the exact same business they started out with, and that's okay.
Right.
I think it's really about learning through the journey, and you just have to keep going and, do make sure that you have, like for me, I just feel really passionate about operations because I do
Yeah.
think they're a foundation to prevent people from getting burned out and to prevent you from like kind of just giving it all up sometimes, because it gives you that support. So no matter if you're offering, like wedding photography, and then you move to like designing websites, like,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know,
Oh, hello.
yes, I know that's Mariah's a great example of that. But no matter what, like if you have some of those base operations, they easily transfer over.
Yeah,
And
totally.
you have a support system there. No
Mhm.
matter kind of what you're offering, it'll still support you. There's
Yeah.
changes you have to make, but still, like the base operations will support you, and it kind of keeps you from feeling like you're starting over every time you make a transition.
Yeah, totally. I am really just so grateful that you could share your knowledge and also your passion for this because like I said at the beginning, my audience is creatives and I feel like everything you're talking about, they're like, no, I don't want to do it.
I know.
But you really turn it into something like really like fun and beautiful and like something that like you want to do, so I just think that's awesome. So thank you so much for sharing this, and I would really like everybody to kind of like check out Mariah and see like more of what she does. So could you please share like how people can connect with you?
So I am everywhere on the internet basically as
Yay.
Bloom Hustle Grow. So my website's Bloom
Awesome.
Hustle Grow. My Instagram's Bloom Hustle Grow. I'm really into Pinterest. So my Pinterest
Okay, yeah,
boards are,
actually that's how we connected, I think.
yes, yes.
Yay.
So those are kind of my main platforms. But I'm really passionate about just like teaching people and sharing the knowledge, because we all have to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
I do really think like if you focus on your operations, it'll make your business journey just a little bit easier.
Which we all could use, I think.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, I'm going to link everything down below. So go check her out. Thank you, Mariah.
Thank you so much for having me, Mariah. It was so fun.